So as we're looking at this drain plug, ours is a 22 millimeter. Some models will have a pan here that you'll have to take off, and that plug could be a 19 millimeter. Either way, they're always going to be millimeter. Now it's time to change our oil filter. Mine is right here in a vertical position, which is very nice to keep it clean, but there are some models that they are sideways and a little farther down so that they're going to make a mess. So make sure you have plenty of rags. Let's get this oil filter off. Let's get this oil changed in our Sany SY35U. Stick around. Welcome back. I'm Jared from Strongrootsfarmoh. Welcome to the channel. Today, as we change this oil in our Sany SY35U, this is my 15-hour oil change. So we will check everything else. We will grease it, but it won't show in this video. But today is the main maintenance, is the 50-hour oil change. All right, step one, we got our creeper, towels, all that kind of stuff set up. All our tools are ready to do the whole job, but we're gonna take off the pan underneath. Let's take a look at that. So the first step is to remove the pan in some models. This is a 24 model. There is no pan. If you have a pan, it would be a 16 millimeter bolt, and you can see it would be a pan would be right here, but ours is open and has this thicker steel plate. And our plug is right here. Let's take a look at that. Plug is right here. As we saw, this is a 22 millimeter, pretty tight there. We'll go ahead and get that out and get our bucket underneath of this. And as we look at it here, you got this lip of this piece of steel. I might go ahead and get a funnel here just so I don't get oil on this lip and make a huge mess, but I got a 5-gallon bucket. It shouldn't take that much. All right, I got this broke loose. I actually had to end up using a breaker bar. And I've got a bucket and a big funnel. So I'm gonna have to take this funnel and hold it up here because I'm afraid it's gonna hit this frame. The other models that I've seen that have the plate, you don't have to do this. They've got that plug a little farther back. So this is my setup. Yours may be different, but it's the same concept and the same principles here. So I can't do this with the camera and hold three things. So you understand what to do. Take that plug out, the oil comes out. Hopefully I can see if it's gonna miss the frame when it slows down, and then I'll pull the funnel out of the way and let it drip there at the end. Okay, so it's down to a drip now. When it was at a small stream, it missed the frame, but when it was thick, it would have hit that frame and splattered on you and made a huge mess. So that's a good point. The other thing I forgot to do was to remove the fill plug from the engine, which made it gurgle and flop because it was looking for air. So I had to reach up and get that. You might want to pull that or your dipstick just to give it some air, and it'll make a solid stream and it won't splatter all over you. So this is your fill plug, and it's just a piece of rubber. It's kind of concerning to me. We know these things are coming from China, but it's just rubber. So I'm going to take some brake cleaner and clean this off really well. You might be able to see here, it has this like white powdery residue on it. It was down all the way. It was in the correct position. So that came from the factory like that. This is the factory oil change. It's never been changed before. It's very concerning that I had to use a huge breaker bar to get that loose. I almost considered going to get a cheater pipe just so that I wasn't putting so much pressure on it. But once I got in a good position, it did come out with a standard breaker bar. These should not be that tight. You should torque these as you put them back in. The plug it is, at least underneath. And so just something to be mindful of. You might need a cheater pipe or a breaker bar instead of a standard ratchet if yours is as tight as mine. All right, step one should have been remove that plate if you have it. Step two was take your oil out. Step three, depending on which model you have, is to remove your oil filter. So we're gonna remove our oil filter. I have an oil filter wrench. This thing is awesome. It works for about everything I have. I have no clue where I got it. I'll look for some to put down in the description for a link for you if you need an oil filter wrench. The other thing I did was I got a pan ready to set this oil filter down into so I don't make a mess. That's another good idea. I have not put my fill plug back in yet. My hope is that when it sucks air from here, the oil in some of this line will drain back out and come back out that fill port. So I'm gonna take this off and change this out, but still leave my drain plug done until I put this back on and before I fill. All right, just get my wrench in here to break this loose. Son of a gun, these freaking guys tighten these things so tight. There is no reason an oil filter should ever be that tight on anything. There's no way I could have got that with my hand. That's ridiculous. All right, so it's broke loose. I can probably get it with my hand now. I'm gonna put some towels down in here. Okay, the towels are down in here, and some people may ask, why do you need to do that? Can't you just wipe the oil off? You can, but the starter on my model is right below this oil filter, and there's a lot of electrical connections, and so it's very hard to clean off, for one. Two, I don't want that oil on it. Another trick that I use on other things that I do is to get a sandwich baggie. Now, I recommend like a freezer baggie so they're thicker, and probably like a gallon one or at least a 2-quart, a bigger Ziploc style baggie. If it's hot, you're gonna wanna let it cool down a little bit for that baggie. I've never had one burn through, but it's hot on your hands because that hot oil stays in that baggie. So you slip the baggie up over it once you got it loose and you take it off, and then there's no mess. Good trick. I don't think I'm gonna need that though, so I'm just gonna go with it old school. It's got a lot of threads there, but thankfully this is at least a vertical one. And look at that. There's some kind of rubbery lining piece of trash there, like a piece of plastic that was in that. That is crazy. All right, so no oil spilled. We're good. Just gonna dump this down in my pan. And just so you can see it, I was correct. It stopped dripping. I opened the filter up and more oil came out. The stream is gone by the time I got the camera ready, but it is still dripping a little bit there. So my maintenance manual does not say to change the fuel filter at 50. I think that's probably a pretty good idea. And it's probably a pretty good idea to go ahead and change your hydraulics. I'm gonna let that go. I've gotta get back to a job, and I can do this at around 100 when I have some time when it's wet and rainy. But I wanted to hit this 50-hour mark, so I'm at like 52 right now. But all three of these could be changed. The bare minimum here is to clean everything off, look for sediment in your fuel filter. We have very, very clean fuel because we get it delivered and then it gets double filtered before we put it into anything. That's why it's red, it's ag fuel. Our oil was good, I checked everything. I've checked the dipstick. If you see any particles, any metal shavings, anything like that on your dipstick, change your hydraulic fluid. We're gonna let that go. And I did add some coolant. It was a little low from factory. And so I did all those things. That's the basic thing. I'm gonna blow my air filter out. If it's so dirty I need to change it, I will change it, but I'm gonna at least clean the canister out and blow that out with an air gun. That's the other maintenance I'm gonna do in this 50-hour maintenance when you're only really supposed to change the oil. And then we'll do a total grease, of course. All right, next day, we got our plug back in, and now we're just gonna put everything back together. So we've got our oil filter back on. Lube the ring, just like any other oil change. No big deal there. We're gonna go ahead and replace this fuel filter because when I bought the kit from Sany, it came with both filters. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it per the recommendation of my dealership. I looked for these filters at a local auto parts store, took it into Napa, we measured it, did all the things, could not find a very good oil filter that compared to these. And then when I talked to my rep at the dealer, he said other people have had issues with other filters. I don't know what that means. Filters should have specs, oil has specs. So he always recommends, of course, buying the OEM oil filter, which is usually what I do, or a higher spec oil filter. But Sany, of course, every dealership's gonna tell you to buy their filters. That's all I know to find right now, and that's what I've bought. There is not a good way to get a pan in here. A Folgers can might actually be about the best thing if you had something like that. I'm gonna use this bucket. I broke this loose with my oil filter wrench, just like before, but this one was not bad like the oil filter was that you saw in the previous video. So we're gonna take this out, getting a little spillage. So I'm glad I got the bucket. And there we go, we got our fuel filter off. Let's go ahead and get that replaced. I'd go off your dealer recommendation, but if you want the part number, this is the oil filter. Have no clue which one it is. And this is my fuel filter. So you can pause the video there and check those out. Next standard practice for us is to take a paint marker, write our date and our hours on both filters. Since we changed them both at the same time, they'll have the same information on them. Okay, we're gonna fill it now with our oil. I'm using Rotel Shell 1540. This is what I use in everything. We buy it in bulk here. It's about 5 quarts. but I wanted to show you a few things on this one. So the dipstick, it's a really long pattern from this line to this line is low and full. That's unusual for an engine, and that worries me a little bit. It must be at a super big angle for them to have that big of a mark. And typically, because I didn't put oil in my filter, I would fill it about 1/8 inch higher than this mark and run it, wait 5 minutes and check it again. That's what we're gonna do today, but it's a little concerning to me. So we did not put oil in there. Because it's vertical, you could put some oil in there and get this closer on the initial pour, but this is a standard oil change. You just fill it up and do what you would do on your car or anything else, and now you know where it's going. The oil spout is a little horizontal, so I have a smaller funnel here, and I have to go kind of slow. That is one negative. So if you had a bendable funnel, that would help you a little bit. And everything's back in there. So we're gonna put this back in, top it off, run it. The negative thing about this is that because we changed the fuel filter at the same time without starting it and running it, it's gonna take a minute to prime through that fuel filter. So we'll see how that goes. That might have been a boring part of the video, but that would have really helped me if I was watching another video to know, hey, it ran for, probably 45 seconds there before it ever had a gurgle. I thought, oh man, well, it's fine, it's primed, and it took itself. So it ran, and then all of a sudden it started dying. I didn't do anything. I didn't throttle up. I didn't do anything specific in the cab. It eventually caught itself back up. Yours may die at that section. Go through your start process again, and it should start back up as it pumps fuel back into this. No leaks, everything looks good. We're gonna wait 5 minutes, check our levels again. Now we're gonna recheck our oil level. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm perfect, right on the money, about a 16th or a 32nd right below that line. So we're gonna go, last thing is to clear that stupid error message. So I'm gonna have to show you how to do that. This is a problem that I had to call the dealership about. Over here on our switch, start our motor, and we get this message. So, hit your check. The up and down is going to change it to 53188. Hit this one to move over to the next digit. See if it works. Haha, and now it's gone. There you have it. We closed everything up. We double checked everything. We've completely greased it. We blew out our air filter, and we did the 50-hour service. There is one grease fitting on the front that you can do at 50 hours. This pivot grease system that you're not supposed to do to 100. I've got a lot of mixed reviews, a lot of different things I found on Reddit. We don't have to do that yet. That'll be another video. But I'm concerned about how I'm gonna do that. So if you know how to do that, please comment down below about the best way and how many pumps. Nobody can tell me how much grease to put in at that service. The reason that warning message, if you're wondering why I had to call a dealership on that, my book had a different code in it. And so they updated me. I updated the book, put that code in to release that. And he says it's the same for every 35. So it worked, got rid of that code, everything's done. Hope this video helped you. I talk a lot, it's very informative, but I wanted to take my time so that if you were having issues with this, if you know how to change your oil, this one is fairly easy. So I hope this video helped you. Appreciate you watching. Comment down below if you need something else. Give us a thumbs up. And until next time, have a good one.